Hey guys, I'm Thomas. Welcome back to Project Rubber Band, and I will be showing you guys the basics on how to weld. Now, I've always used a flux core welder, which is a very messy way to weld. There are lots of other different kinds of welders that will give you much cleaner beads, but as a flux core welder, I know that my welds are not going to be the cleanest. But if you take a grinder to it after and you just clean it up a little bit, usually it ends up looking pretty good. So there are three things you will need. The first thing you'll need is just a piece of scrap metal, and I'm just going to be using this thick piece of angle iron to show you guys. The second thing you will need will be a welder. Now, there are a lot of welders out there. I use the Forney Easy Weld. It's got flux core welding, it's got gas welding, it's got stick welding, and it's got TIG welding. So it has those four options, and you can pick one. I'm doing flux core. And the third thing will be the wire, which just depends on what welder you have. The first thing you want to do is get this surface to the bare metal. So you don't want any rust or any like little chips or anything. You want it just to be nice and flat and shiny. Alright guys, so I went and I hit it on the grinder because the sander wasn't doing the best job. I need a higher grit for this for it to be able to work on this metal right here. So the next step will be to turn on your welder, get the clamp on there, and get it all ready for welding. So the idea with the simplest welding is to take your gun and then go on the metal in little circles. That's the simplest way to weld. Now there's like other ways, there's like gap welding and stuff, but I'm just teaching you guys the basic way to weld. I'm about to show you that real quick in a more in-depth process. Somewhere on the welder there will be a little chart on what the thickness of the material and what you need the settings to be on your welder. And for me, if you go right over here, you open this little thing. This is a Forney Easy Welder. If you go right here, there's a chart. So we're gonna go to, we got 140 amp MIG setup chart. If you go all the way over here, it says the thickness of the metal that we are going to be welding today is 1/4. So this is the heat knob and this is the wire speed knob. So if you set one on 10, the other on 9, we're going to be set for this weld. So the first thing you're going to do is obviously clamp that on there. When you're going down your piece of metal, you do not want to do your circles like this with the stick facing this way. You want to make sure you're always dragging. So make sure you're dragging down the metal and then doing the little circles. So usually I like putting my thumb on it and then on the metal. And then you just do your little circles like that. And then keep dragging, and then you will form a pool. When you do the little circles, it forms the what we call like stacked on pennies. I'm gonna demonstrate that real quick and show you guys how it looks. One more important thing to have is always a welding mask and gloves. Just make sure you do that. Don't try to weld with no mask or no gloves. That's just not a good idea. So make sure you have these, and after that, you're all set for welding. Alright guys, so one more thing I forgot to mention when you're welding flux core is it gets this like cloudy like mass around the weld. Usually that'll stay there until you hit it with a wire brush. So it's always good to have a wire brush on hand when you're welding flux core. After you weld and then you hit it with the wire brush, it'll still look kind of like dark and it won't have like the shiny luster that it has like right there. And part of that problem is because there's a little shell on the weld. So you need to go down and hit it with like a sharp object or like the end of this or like a hammer or a little like pinpoint hammer, and just go down and like tap the weld sharply, and then you'll see this crust come off of the weld, and that's when you get the shiny luster that it has right here. And if you look closely, you can see the stacked discs. So there are a lot of videos out there, really complicated videos talking about gases and all this crap. What I'd suggest is flux core welder. It's the simplest way to weld, especially if you're a beginner. Just make sure you just start with flux core. Then if you get more advanced and you want to like get more stronger welds or better welds, I would suggest going to some other methods of welding. But for now, if you are a beginner, go with flux core. It's probably one of the cheapest options. Also, guys, comment below. I want to know if you guys like my shorts or my videos more. I really want to know this because it determines on if I make more shorts or more videos. I've been releasing more shorts lately, so if you guys like the shorts, give me a comment, give me a like, so I can determine what I will be posting next. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because I love when you guys subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.